Hello everyone, Rich Mr. Thrive and Survive. This is going to be a video about Flat Earth and about this picture. This picture was actually picked up by Dave. I don't know how he found it, but you know, when you start thinking about a lot of different things and questioning things that you never questioned before, it doesn't take much thinking before you know you're seeing something that you shouldn't be seeing. Once once your brain is turned on to the propaganda, and you know what to look for and not to look for, and what to filter and what not to filter. Starts becoming easier and easier to trip over things that you find out prove reality all the time. Nothing proves a globe. Nothing proves it's spinning. You never come across things in life that will say, "Oh, well, maybe it is a spinning," because I felt, after the summer equinox, we did start to speed up a little bit as we were going around the sun. Yeah, we don't get things like that, do we? No, everything's to the contrary. And then here's one right here. Now, what the beauty of this thing is, this was on a website that is dedicated, I believe, to photographs and photography and things like that. The farthest thing from their mind is flat Earth and any kind of controversy there. And we're going to look at this here closer up in a minute. But I want you to just kind of, I'll have a link to this so you can go and look at the actual blog and the comments and things like that. And how nice it is when they're not arguing over what is the obvious. In any case, this may be a world record, I don't know, as far as how far someone has identified an object as far as the farthest distance on the Earth. The observer here took the picture from standing on one mountain and then saw this mountain in the background. The background mountain is Mount Rainier. It's Mount Brunswick in the foreground, and I'm assuming they're at the top of it. And you know what? If you look at this, guys, I think there's little people here. I mean, not little people. there's people standing on the mount here across, and it just goes to show you the grandness of this whole thing. Notice the clouds when we get to the bigger picture. Let's actually go there now. There we go. Here's a layer of clouds. This is above this layer of clouds. I'll explain this later why this is very important. And again, Mount Brunswick in the foreground. Look how little the people are and how close they are compared to where Mount Rainier is. Absolutely spectacular. Looks like there's a little city down here. In any case, the thing about this is it is 193.8 miles away, guys. Mount Rainier, at least. And there's something else in here that I'm not sure exactly where it is, but they're saying it's 200 miles away at least, or there's another picture. You can read the comments. In any case, let's get into this, because this ends up being a triple proof or a double proof with a little icing on the top, because we can eliminate Superior Mirage with 100% certainty in this photograph. And unfortunately, you're going to have to endure my drawings on paint once again. But let's get into this, because this is really exciting. It's a rather benign type of thing that came up that is much better than a lot of photographs, because we have a lot of tools and a lot of things in this photograph that once you're keen to looking for these things, this is a beauty. This is a capture. This is like a Darwinist finding the missing link. It really is. That's how good I see this picture right here. Let's get into it. Now, the camera source is from Mount Brunswick, which has an elevation of 5,866 feet. We are assuming that the camera person was standing at the very top of the mount, and this is to our disadvantage. So we're going to be the most disadvantaged here. You're going to see it. It doesn't matter. Mount Rainier was what we saw in the background, back right portion of the screen of the photograph, and the elevation there is 14,416 feet. For those of you who are new to Flat Earth, there is a such thing called a distance to the horizon calculator. And what you do is you take in the height of the observer, in this case 5,866 feet, the observer being on top of Mount Brunswick. You put that in this case in feet, you calculate it, and it gives you what's called the distance to the horizon, or how I have abbreviated it, DTH. Distance to the horizon, 93.8 miles. What this means is when you get 93.8 miles from the source, the curvature of the Earth will no longer allow you to see anything beyond that unless something sticks up, and that's of course, if you have good visibility and different things like that. Of course, when you're high up, visibility is less of a factor because in this case we're above clouds, and we also when you get up that high, just the air is thinner. You have there's no smog, no different things like that to obscure your view. Okay, let's get into this. My famous drawings here. We have Mount Rainier represented on the right, and on the left we have Mount Brunswick. The distance between the two is 193.8 miles. Now, what I have listed here is this DTH equals 93.8 miles. That's from that calculator we just looked at. Distance to the horizon from the peak of Mount Brunswick. The curvature, now this will look more like you're used to seeing the global people draw it here in a minute. We're going to draw it like it is a globe and take a look at that. So don't worry about that, we'll get there. Now, for those of you who are new, the way you can tell what the drop is simple. You take the amount of miles and the distance between two objects. In this case, it's 193.8 miles. You square that number. So it's miles squared, so it's 193.8 times 193.8. You take the result of that, you multiply that by 8. That will give you the amount of inches. And we'll have to talk about this later. The mathematics may actually be wrong. It may actually be higher than 8 inches. They've been lying to us about that, I believe. Story for another time. In any case, that will give you the amount of inches in drop. Then what you do is if it's a large number, you can divide that by 12, and that will give you how many feet. That's what I did here, and we'll take a look at that when that's right here, 7,850 feet would be the drop at that distance. Is that right? We verify that in the next slide. In any case, you can even go further than that. If it's a very large number, you can divide that by 5,280, and that will give you statute miles. All right, Brunswick, the elevation is 5,866 feet. Mount Rainier is 14,416 feet. Got that? All right. Now, obviously, that means that if we draw this out, of course this is not geometrically correct, but the curvature at that is 25,039 feet at 193.8 miles. So obviously, Mount Rainier would be below what this person could see, even if the distance to the horizon would allow them to see this far, which it doesn't. That's actually elimination number 1, 193.8 miles. The fact that Mount Rainier is below what could be seen anyway on the globe, even if the distance wasn't limited as far as to the horizon. Mount Rainier is below. So these are actually labeled wrong. There's 2 eliminations right here already, and we're going to have to come up with another one that you're going to see here in just a minute. So now let's switch it over to more of a globular look. Just Mount Brunswick alone, 93.8 miles is, again, you got it, that is the farthest point that a person on top of Mount Brunswick could see to the horizon, distance to the horizon. This comes up a lot in flat Earth. All right. Now, when you put in where this is actually a little bit overextended to make the point, but the drop from Y to Z, here's Y, top of Mount Brunswick, Z is the distance to the horizon. The drop is 5,865 feet in that distance alone. Then you have points Z and B. B is where Mount Rainier is. The distance drop calculation here is from Z to B, from this point right here, where this person stops seeing because the horizon of the Earth gets in the way, or the curvature of the Earth gets in the way, rather. There's an additional 19,174 foot drop that this person can't even see because it's beyond what the Earth will allow them to see from their elevation. So the total drop when you add these two is 25,039 feet. Again, we've had double elimination already. One, from this height on the globe, you couldn't even see no matter how high, well, it would have to be you, I guess you, no, yeah, you would actually eventually get a mountain high enough to where you could probably see something. But perspective has some issues there too with how far you can see through the atmosphere and stuff like that. Being high up does help with that because the atmosphere is thinner. Let's go on to the next one. Now there's one more thing I want to add here, that if a person was standing at point Z right here looking over at Mount Rainier, they would be able to see part of the mountain. Okay, 5,865 feet would be the elevation to that observer. If they had, let's say, some sort of sextant or something like that where they could measure the height, they use the Pythagorean theorem or whatever and come up with a height, they could figure that the mountain, okay, was 5,865 feet in apparent elevation, even though in reality it's over 14,000 feet. That's what that person would see. Okay, all I've done here is I've kind of flipped this up and made it more proportional so that you can see that if I draw a line from Z down to B, assuming they could see that far because of the curve, they actually could because this does stick up enough. They could be able to see part of the mountain. Again, they wouldn't be able to tell exactly how tall it is. Okay, so this is a better visual representation. Actually, if I put that mountain in here, something like this, that would probably be the best, but hopefully you're getting what I'm saying here. Now this is extremely important. Remember the photograph, the cloud cover that basically extended from the base of one mountain all the way out to the base of another. Remember how anything that is farther than what supposedly is able to see, they pull the superior mirage trick on you. Oh, that's a superior mirage, that's why you can see it, right? Well, a superior mirage, as I've explained in one of my most recent videos here, is not possible above the inversion layer. Okay, it has to be in the inversion layer. You know when inversion layer ends because the cloud cover ends there. Let's go back to the picture real quick here. All right, look at this. You've got a cloud cover pretty much all the way in. There's a little bit of breaks over here, but over here it's steady all the way out. You can see that as far as the eye can see, there is cloud cover below. Now, right here at the city below, whatever this is, there is no cloud cover, but it doesn't matter. Any mirage would have to stop where the cloud cover stops. When you understand how superior mirage works, you'll get this. Now, let's just say there was a ship here, or this right here, this little, looks like a little building sticking up. That actually could be a mirage because it's right at the edge of where, before the obvious top to an inversion layer is. This is an inversion layer. How do I know that? Two things. One, this is stratiform type of clouds. They are all level. Notice how there's no curve going all the way out to the mountain. It's level. And this is based on dew point. Dew point changes with elevation. So the clouds would curve if it was a globe Earth. It does not. It's just as flat as the ocean below it if there was an ocean below this. But what these clouds represent is the dew point temperature was reached below this cloud top, these cloud tops right here. And at the top of these clouds, the dew point temperature no longer is reached, which means it's drier above here, and you have a normal, what's called adiabatic lapse rate, which happens above the cloud level here, which means there can be no inversion above here. If it was an inversion, the clouds would be still going. This marks the end of an inversion, which marks the absolute end of the possibility that anything could be a mirage from the cloud line here all the way out. Even if the clouds were to break and stop here, it would be somewhere from here before would have to be the mirage. You can't, like I said, even if there's a break that we can't see way out here. You see this right here? I don't know if these, let's assume these aren't mountains. They probably are. But these could be what's called cumuliform clouds, which means to heap up, which means you have air current that is rising vertically from the surface. That is not happening here. This is non-vertical development, stratiform clouds, which indicates an inversion top. It's the end of an inversion. Anything above this cannot be a superior mirage. It's eliminated, guys. That's what's the beauty with this. It's a double elimination. We already have two. We should not be able to see beyond probably these mountains here because of the distance to the horizon. And the mountain in the background is below the curvature of the Earth. That's two. You cannot explain this away as a superior mirage because the inversion is here and it is below what we are seeing as what would be a mirage. If these clouds were above, then what's in between, the sandwich in between, that could be a superior mirage. That's why all the different videos and pictures and different things like that I've seen of the Chicago skyline from many different vantage points from Lake Michigan. I haven't seen one yet. Well, I think I did see one where it could possibly be a superior mirage because there were some stratiform clouds above, but it wasn't thick and complete as this is. It was broken. But I can't emphasize enough how big of a deal this is, guys. It really is a big deal because it absolutely 100% eliminates superior mirage. No mirage possible. So here we go. Elimination number one, impossible to see Mount Rainier from Mount Brunswick on a curved Earth. No way possible. And we actually did that two different ways. So that's elimination 1 and 2. The other one is superior mirage BS from the mainstream media is hereby ruled out with 100% certainty in this picture. Look up superior mirages. Look up inversions. You'll see what I'm saying is absolutely 100% correct. Impossible to have a superior mirage in what we just looked at. And again, note the clouds are of uniform height, no curve down as they move away from the observer, as they would have to do, especially with the stratiform clouds. But if you understand how they form and what causes the upper and lower level of those clouds, it would damn sure go with the curvature of the Earth. And there is no curvature. I should have realized this when I was 16 years old looking at Anvil Cirrus coming from thunderstorms 300 miles downstream. There was absolutely no difference in the cloud heights from 300 miles away to where I was, which indicates that there is no curvature to the Earth. So the other beauty of this whole thing really is that, let me see if I can find this again where we started. It was the fact that, here we go, the fact that these guys here, the flat Earth is the farthest thing from their mind. And so it's not all hyped up and, they didn't change how far away it was. There's no argument in their discussion. They're just celebrating that this could be possibly the world record at how far one person has taken a photograph for a distance in the background. That it's, close to 200 miles. That's what they're celebrating with this. They're not getting the gobbledygook of, is this flat Earth or not? If the mainstream took this, they probably wouldn't have even identified where they were standing or whatever because of the ramifications of it. This is the best evidence, photo evidence yet, that I know of to absolutely nail the many, one more of the many nails already in the coffin of it being a globe. Thanks, guys. I appreciate your attention. That's my take on this anyway. Take care. Hey, guys. I want to thank everybody who has supported Colloidal Silver Gold by purchasing it. I'm getting some excellent feedback. In fact, I've got an excellent testimonial coming from a guy who bought Colloidal Silver Gold, and Pure simply does work better. He had a sore throat, went to, this is one of the YouTube guys, went to a supermarket, purchased colloidal silver. He ordered from me, but he didn't get it in the mail yet. So he went there, used it 2 days, had no relief at all. Mine then came in the mail. He used it in a sore throat, went away immediately. And I've heard this from several different people about different things that they've tried before, other colloidal silvers, and this just absolutely blew it away. This is 4th of July weekend where we celebrate our independence. Congratulations to the British who broke away from what I believe to be a fascist Europe, redeveloping over there. And so I think that will be, as Nigel Farage said over there, their new Independence Day with that Brexit vote. In honor of that, and thanks for the support of you guys, 20% off for all the products on the page. If anyone's interested in colloidal silver, the discount code will be Brexit, BREXIT, at colloidalsilvergold.com. Whatever you'd like, if you just want to try one of the bottles, it's fully guaranteed. You don't get the results you like out of it on a 2-ounce bottle. Just return the unused or empty bottle and you get a full refund, less shipping and handling. We stand by this 100%. So again, any product at all, 20% off. And thanks again for all your support. Again, the discount code is Brexit. Thanks, guys. Take care.